Hi, my name is Uzma and I am a transformational coach. If you have been following me, you'll know that I've been doing some videos in the past few days talking about personal growth. And we've touched on many different topics, and I really hope that you guys have found some value in them and you have started to implement some of the things that we've discussed. Today, I wanted to talk about the power of clarity and how to actually go about staying focused on what it is that you're setting out to do. A lot of the times, people set goals, they make plans very excitedly, and then somehow they lose that focus and they end up going back into the procrastination stage where they're not really taking much of an action. So it's really important to have some kind of a way to make sure that you stick with the plans that you're doing. If you've got good goals, that we talked about how to set good goals yesterday, if you've already managed to get some goals on paper, then how do you get to a point where you're able to action them and continuously action them without falling in the trap of giving up too soon? That's what a lot of people end up doing. So the first thing about clarity is that you know exactly what you want. That's the start of it. Like, you have to know what it is that you want, and the premise to that is that you should not be worrying about how that will happen. This is where we talked about having really big goals, and sometimes a lot of people get stuck on the fact that, well, it's fair enough having really big goals, but how would I do that? How is that even possible? How would I know? What do I know about this kind of thing? So it's important not to get stuck on the how, because things evolve when you have the right mindset and you meet the right people, and right kind of doors end up opening and things start to happen as you go on. So the first thing is to know exactly what you want, and with it, the caveat is that you shouldn't really worry about the how to begin with. So because your subconscious mind is obviously at work all of the time, 24 hours, 7 days a week, so it's really important to give it that clarity on what it is that you're looking for. Life doesn't necessarily give you what you want or what your dominating thoughts are. I think it's if you know about law of attraction, and if you've learned anything about it, then it really focuses on like thinking hard or visualizing what it is that you're looking for, and that's a really powerful tool. Law of attraction is an amazing thing, and it works for a lot of people. But the missing bit that some people don't get right is the fact that the consistency bit. How do you get to a point, okay, you can carry on really wanting something, you're carrying on having some visualizations, and you're constantly thinking really hard about what it is that you want, but the change still isn't happening, and there's something obviously not going quite right for you. And that's what I want to talk about today, to get that kind of a clarity and then be persistent and be continuously make progress in whatever it is that you're after. So how do we get to that stage where we continue to stay on track in any goals that you've set, any plans that you've made? So, but before I do that, I just want to tell you that, for example, like, let's say that you've got a mindset of creating wealth, that you want to earn more money. The more you think about becoming wealthy and rich, the more you think about how poor you are. So it kind of has a negative effect instantly. So it makes you think about whatever it is that you want so badly. It makes you think about the fact that you don't actually have it already. So this is why it's a cycle, and to get out of the cycle, you have to kind of play a trick on your own mind. You have to kind of tell your, and this is what I want you to listen quite carefully on how this works, right? So if you've got a plan, let's say that we talked about having some really unrealistic massive goals yesterday. Let's say that you've actually written down your goals in each of the areas that you want to improve. You've got those goals already. And I'm going to take an example of gym, for example. It's what most people can relate to, perhaps losing weight or something like that. So, or even making money. But let's stick with losing weight for now. So let's say you've got a plan to lose 7 kg in the gym, and you've made a plan to work out Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, right? And so that's 4 times a week that you've got a plan and you're sticking by it. You've started it really excitedly and you want to continue doing that, and you know that you're going to lose weight, and you've thought really hard about how you want your body to look like and all of that. That's all fair and good, but the point is that there will come days where you're feeling like, actually I can't do it, actually today I'm too tired, or I haven't had enough sleep, or for whatever reason you'll not feel up to it and you'll miss that. And as soon as you start missing that, you kind of lose that momentum and you start going back into that trap of, I can't do this, and then you end up giving up. A lot of people end up giving up. So the way to play the trick on your mind is to already tell your mind, already act as though you have lost those 7 pounds. So how would that person behave? Or if we're talking about somebody earning that money, act as though you've already got that amount that you want. Your identity has already shifted into that person that you want to become. And the more you act as though you already have achieved that, the more your mind believes, the more your mind kind of plays the trick. It's a really powerful thing that you can do for yourself, and it's called an identity shift, and it really works for people, because it gives your mind that motivation and how to keep going. So you're less likely to slip on your plans, and the reason you do that is because your identity is now of the person that you're wanting to become. So if you have already lost 7 pounds, would you then eat that slice of pizza, or would you then go for the cake with your coffee, or would you then miss out on a day or two in the week of your workout, because you know that progress is it's so important to you, and that's how you you love your body as it is. You've already gone into that identity. You're a person who's persistent. The only reason you've lost that 7 pounds is because you're a persistent person. And when you take on this identity, you will never miss whatever it is that you need to do to get to that point. And it's because it's become a part of you, and you need to do it, and you don't really need that much of a motivation anymore, because you've identified with that new self. And it's not easy, and I know it sounds like, oh well, that's, how do you do that? But really the power is in your mind. And once you've tricked your mind to do that, and once you've started to think like that, you'll see that it starts to create the best behaviors in you. It starts to shift your mind and mentality and your actions and your thoughts even within yourself, because you would start to question, if I had already reached that, if I had already got to where I wanted to get to, would I be thinking this way? So you kind of you reverse that thinking process, and then think that now that I've identified as that person, then you're less likely to act or behave in a way that you miss your routine, or that you don't do what you set out to do, or that you don't stick to your plan. So because it's now part of your identity, it's now with you, right? So this is one of the biggest secrets in getting to investing in personal growth, is that improving yourself and creating daily habits is a difficult thing already. We touched on habits yesterday, but one of the most easiest way to stick to new habits is by having this identity shift. It's really starting to believe that you have become the person you want to become, and have that belief inside of yourself. Make your mind believe it, trick your mind, because whatever you tell it, your mind, your thoughts don't know whether you're telling the truth or you're not. It just knows the information you've given it. So once you start to play on that and act upon that, you'll see that it actually starts to work, and you start behaving differently. And because now you're starting to behave differently, because you're now starting to act upon your plan, because you've now identified as a newer person, then you'll see that you're much more persistent, because then you wouldn't fail, or go into the gym, or whatever it is that you've set out to do. I think it's a really long subject, and actually it requires a lot more than just telling you, tricking your brain. It's not as simple as just said. It requires some meditation. It requires a lot of calm time. It requires a lot of practice before you can actually get to it. But it is ultimately how it would work, and I'm more than willing to help anybody. If you've got any questions, by all means send me a private message and we can have a chat about it. But I hope it's helped. I know it sounds a bit woolly because if you haven't heard of this concept before, it sounds like, well, I don't think that would work, but it truly does. And there's a lot of people who could vouch for this, that it really, really does work. But do have a think about it. If you've got any questions, like I said, approach me. If you found it useful, then share the video and tag anyone you think might benefit from it. And yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow with a new topic. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.